All right, so we're preparing to go live. Welcome everyone. Let's see. It's telling me we are live. Yes. Hello
Awesome.
everyone. Welcome to Resilience is Your Superpower. I'm so excited to be doing this live series on YouTube for the month of April. I am so inspired by the women that I'm bringing on to talk about resilience because I had my own journey with resilience. I actually, the reason why we're doing this program is because I'm renaming my self love program. It's an 8-week program for women. I'm renaming it Resilience because I realized that that's one of the words that people use to describe me the most. So every time I've asked people in the past, how would you describe me? They'll say, "You're resilient, Mio." And so, something I noticed with every single woman that has taken my program is that each of them possess the same trait of resilience. And it just like, it dawned on me. I was like, this is the name of the program. So, in honor of that, and in honor of my 3-year anniversary coming up soon, I wanted to bring together women that inspire me, women that are doing amazing things on this planet, and talk about resilience and what it means to them and how they've accessed resilience in their lives. So today I have the honor of being sitting and having coffee and tea with a beautiful soul named Veronica Perez. She is actually a graphic designer turned blogger who is she's super passionate about adventure and travel, and she hopes to bring that passion and inspire others to do the same by the words that she writes on her blog. So she's a participant in my self love program. So she's actually living the actual program as we speak. So that's amazing. And we're going to sit down today and just have a casual conversation about resilience and what that means and how she has been resilient in her life. So thank you guys so much for being here. Just so you know, we're going to be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. on YouTube during the month of April. So make sure to tune in. And if you have any comments or questions while we're having the interview, please feel free to comment below and we'll circle back at the end and see if there's any questions. All right. So welcome, Veronica. I'm so glad to have you here today. I was looking forward to this. We started the series yesterday, so you're the second interview we're doing, and I'm so happy that you are, because you've just been such an inspiration in my own journey with Divine Journey and developing my business and collaborating with me on the design. So it's just been such a beautiful journey to be working with you. And I'm just so grateful to have you here today. And I just wanted you to maybe give the audience a little bit of a background about you and what brought you here today, and maybe a little bit about what you do.
Thank you, Mio. And I'm honored as well to be a part of not only your program, which has been really, really helpful for me. Almost done. I'm on week 7, and it has been incredible. I love it. So thank you so much for being my coach and for being such a great friend. Um, what brings me here today is, I guess, to talk about resilience in my journey, in my life. It's just, I guess we all, and especially as women, I guess we live this all the time, right? Being resilient. A little bit about me. I am a graphic designer. I was born in Venezuela. I actually live right now in San Pedro Belize, which I love. It's a little tiny country, and I live in a very special place. So I'm very happy here. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm a graphic designer that for years I've been just looking for a little bit of more purpose in my life, more than just working for just to get ahead in life, right? I just wanted to find some purpose, feel complete, feel happy. So that's when I started searching in different professions, and now I think since last year I've been finally dedicating myself to this blog. It's in Spanish, and I'm sharing my journey of my inner journey through like fun and adventure, right? So I wanna make sure I try to make this journey as fun and as entertaining as it can be, because I know sometimes it can be hard to go through those deep levels of yourself, right? So yeah, that's what I'm dedicating myself to that project right now.
Beautiful, amazing. And what do you think is the one thing that made you realize that you wanted to do what you're doing now?
So last year I turned 30 during quarantine, and in my for my 30-year-old birthday, there was just a lot of pressure, a lot of like imposed pressure on myself, expectations I had on where I was going to be when I turned 30, what I wanted to accomplish, how I would look. And there was just this big like failing sense of like, okay, I'm not where I want to be in my life. And it really, really affected me, right? And then it was current quarantine. So I was like, I had nowhere to escape because I love escaping, and I had nowhere to run, nowhere to go. I was just like in, my darkness. So that event, going through that process of seeing myself somewhere different that I wanted to be, and just sitting with it and trying to process it, made me start searching for why I wasn't feeling so great in my life. Why wasn't I feeling this sense of accomplishment and happiness with me and my life and everything? So through journaling, meditation, a lot of being on my own helped me to realize that by sharing my experience, by sharing my journey, and by saying, hey, this is all I'm finding out about myself and who I am, and it's messy and it's difficult, but it's wonderful, and it's the best journey I can find myself in, and I want to share it with you. That's when I finally felt like I found purpose in my life, that through shared experiences we can just inspire and help each other, because um I guess our relationship with ourselves, like you taught us, is our most important relationship, right? And getting to know ourselves is a huge adventure. It's we don't really know ourselves that much until we dedicate the time to sit with ourselves and say, okay, so who are you? What do you like? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Where do you want to like travel and explore the world? And so that's a long answer to your question.
No, that's perfect. I love it. And so, up until that point that you actually realized, okay, I have a voice and I want to use it, what had your life been until then? Like, what has had your career been like? And you were saying how you didn't know yourself, you were, kind of trying to navigate that. So tell us about that. How was it getting up until that point?
So up until that point, I had been just ticking all the boxes that I had to take. I guess I was, graduated high school, check, and I went to college, and I graduated college and I started working, right? Or even before I started working in this, I love before I started working in design, photography. And I always thought like, well, at least it's something creative, right? Because I always figured myself to be somebody creative. I'm like, well, at least this is something creative. So I was kind of excited. But as soon as I started working in it, I would just go for a few months in the getting excited and being excited for the job and everything. And then the questions would just like pop on my mind, like, is this all there is? Like, is my life just only taking pictures and doing designs? Like, it was just like the same questions over and over. So soon enough, I would like quit whatever I was doing and just probably escape, go on like a little trip or go to a mountain or the beach or whatever, just to escape that reality of having to decide, right? Soon enough, I would just go again another job, different job, maybe in design or photography or something different, and then the same feeling would come over me. In those years, I actually moved countries. So I moved from Venezuela to here to Belize. And I didn't have paperwork to work here for a while. So for a while, I was also like freelancing. I just was lost in the professional world. I actually ended up working at a friend's flower shop here for a while, for a year. Then I opened up a restaurant with my husband, and that was fun. But still, the sense of purpose was not there. Like I kept on like just passing time. I'm like, okay, just do this little thing to make some money and figure it out while I figure out what I want to do. And I spent 10 years in trying to figure out what it was, right? Like there has to be something that just feels good, like that just feels that my time here on earth is used properly, and I feel fulfilled. So yeah, it was just a messy professional road, and it still is. I mean, it's the beginning of something very nice.
Totally. Yeah. And so basically you went through all these like ups and downs in your journey in your professional career, at least for a decade. And so, and that's great that you mentioned that, because we're going into the next topic, which is failure and how failure plays a role in our journey. No one likes to talk about failure, but what is it really? Is it really failure? Or is it getting you closer to where you are now? And so what have failures meant to you? And what was one of your biggest failures, or that you felt or thought at the time that it was a failure in your journey?
So yeah, it's very interesting you mentioned that, because I do believe we do have like a very negative relationship with failure, and like, oh, I failed, and knowing that now that I'm a perfectionist and I'm like struggling to get out of there. But as a perfectionist, it's like failure feels so dense and negative, right? But what does failure mean to me? Right now, it means the opportunity to grow. I'm thankful for failure because it's gotten me to where I am now. Obviously, in the moment, it's like, I don't want to fail. This doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah. So what was it like throughout your journey before you actually changed your relationship with failure?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just felt very much like a failure, especially professionally. There was this, I just never felt accomplished. Like I was doing design and I felt like my clients weren't like the clients I wanted. So I felt like a failure like that. Like, I can't get the clients I want. Like the time kept passing and I wanted to build like this design company. The time kept passing and I'm like, I'm nowhere close to that company. I'm just doing these little designs for like a couple clients and I'm never gonna get there. So failure was very familiar feeling for me. I just always felt like I wasn't accomplishing anything. Every little thing that I accomplished, I didn't acknowledge it. So I just like, if I accomplished something very small, I would just like continue on the next goal because this didn't matter because it wasn't this perfect idea I had in my head. Yeah, and then year after year I was 25 and I wasn't accomplishing. I was 26 and I hadn't accomplished it. It was just like, yeah, I felt like a big failure.
And did you have an idea of what success should look like and what you had thought it should look like, and you were fighting against that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, completely. Actually, this was the beginning idea of why I wanted to start the blog, and it's the first article I shared is about this idea of success I had when I was 18, right? Success to me meant for this whole decade meant having my own home, having my own company, being financially independent, looking a certain way. I even imagined myself with like straight hair and like nice purses and like a longer torso. I even talked about this because I imagine myself looking different, right? Different than my body, than the body I have right now. So it was just this idea of perfection that I was chasing without questioning myself. I was just like in this rush to like, get my house and my design company and all this set up so I could feel good and I feel accomplished. And then obviously I turned 30 and then none of that happens. It felt really like crushing to me. That was my idea of success, all those things.
Wow. Yeah. And so it's funny because in life, what we tend to do is we'll find this idea of success that we maybe inherited or were programmed by or were inspired by or whatever that is, and we attach ourselves to it. But yet we never stop to ask ourselves the question along the way: does this feel right for me? Is this my calling? Is this something that I want to do? Do I want to have a house, or maybe I want to have an apartment, or maybe I want to, live in a tent? I don't know, like asking ourselves those questions, and we end up just like subscribing to this idea of what happiness is or what success should look like. And then we like martyr ourselves to it, like tie ourselves to it. And when we don't reach that, it's like, and plus, like you said, it's perfect. It's like a perfect utopian, image of life that is actually, it doesn't exist. And so we're almost like we're never going to reach it. So we're setting ourselves up for failure already, just like in our minds. And so we're like fighting against ourselves until that moment when we realize, wait a minute, like this the song by Talking Heads from the 80s, that he goes, wait a minute, this is not my beautiful house, this is not my beautiful wife, this is not my car, this is not my life. Like he just realized, like, wait, I didn't sign up for this, like this is not what I wanted, you know. And so you had that moment, that realization that you were like, wait, I'm 30 and I don't even actually want all this. So tell us about that. Like when you got to that point, what was that like for you, and what did you start to, what started to open up in your life, and what did you see for yourself as possibility?
Yeah, I mean, when that point reached, I almost like sort of like laughed at my 18-year-old self. Like we didn't, like, when did we never like question like why did we want this house, or this body, or this purse? Like I'm not a purse person, I never use purses. Like why didn't I question like this race, right? The realization took me time, took me a lot of tears and a lot of looking at myself. But the realization was that the questioning of who I am, who am I really, what do I want in my life. And the interesting part that I got to is that I've been obsessed with how things should look a certain way in my life. And I started saying, but I want to feel a certain way, right? Because for example, I had imagined I was going to have this company, this design company, right? And I had always imagined myself as this corporate person with heels and walking to my office or whatever. And I'm like, I don't like stress. I live on an island. I have a super chill life. Like that doesn't go with me, right? So no, I don't want to feel stress, or I don't need to feel whatever the design company would make me feel. I want to feel in calm. I want to feel present. I want to feel full of purpose and of being of service to other people. It's a different feeling. So getting to understanding that I was searching for something that looked a certain way and not for a feeling, made me realize, okay, I have to shift to feeling a certain way.
Absolutely. That's so key, how you feel, because up until that point, you weren't feeling well because you were trying to put yourself into all these like boxes of like what you thought should be the right thing. And
Mm.
you were not happy. You weren't feeling fulfilled. You were you were like playing at one job for a minute, and then you would leave there and escape and go to the beach and feel good at the beach. But at the job, you were like, you were dying, you know? And so you made that distinction where it was like, okay, what's going to make me feel like I want to feel? And then let me follow that. Let me chase that. Let me go for that, you know? And that's a key aspect in resiliency, you know, is really, really owning and connecting with what matters for you deep inside. But you said something really important that I wanted to dive into a little bit, when you said that you actually were sad when you were realizing that your vision wasn't what you had thought it was. You know, when you had that realization, you cried. It was when you were talking about it, I kind of imagined like almost like a grieving process. And I can
Mm.
imagine that because when we're so identified with something and it becomes our life, we're like, it becomes part of us, you know, we're so invested in it and we're so identified to it that if it doesn't happen, or if we have to walk away from it, it's almost like a death of the ego, you know, and you grieve that. So tell us about that. What was that like for you?
Um, well, I mean, that was a long process. It took time, right? And it was, I guess, the grieving process of the person that thought that this was what made me happy. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, yes, I guess it's a death of the ego, and a death of like all these, like, who said that I needed to look this way? Who said that my house needed to look this way, or that I needed financial freedom, or that I needed all these things for me to feel good? Like, so like it was this like it was a grieving process, but a grieving process of like feeling like my society, of my upbringing or whatever, had put all these things in my box, and I was like in the box with the things. Like, okay, this is not my things, let me open up the box and let's take out these things, and let me see what they look like, and try to understand why I was like why I wanted all this stuff, right? Like, no, yeah, I was like, wait, like this is not my these are not my things. Like, these are not the things that would make me happy. So it was a little bit of that process of just like observing and saying, wow, why did I think this way? And so it's been very curious to like see myself, understand why I wanted those things, and allow myself to say, you know what, I don't want this anymore. I want to put this in my box, and I want to put this other thing in my box, or not a box, or some other element, you know. But yeah,
Exactly. Like, why even have a box? We don't even need a box. We can
exactly.
have a, a basket or,
Yeah, a flying
whatever that
carpet.
is.
Exactly.
Exactly. And the key is that you took inventory. You got to the point where you realized that what you had been doing in your life wasn't working for you. You felt like the failure. You had that grieving process. You came to terms with your failure, and then you took inventory. You took inventory of your life, you took inventory of the things you had been doing, and you started to make the better choices for yourself and for your happiness. And so, you know, oftentimes when we talk about resilience and being resilient, and like getting to where you are in life and being one of those, people that just like get out of bed and grab the bull by the horns and make it happen. It tends to become almost like a lonely road to some people because you get so caught up in controlling the outcomes of what you want to create in your life that you forget that you don't have to do it alone. And so asking for help is like a challenge for those of us who tend to be on these journeys of resilience. Is that something that you experienced in your path? And did you realize when you needed community and when you needed to open yourself up? And what was that like for you?
Yeah. So on this whole journey and thinking about resilience, I would always like be like try to figure it out by myself. And I remember like so many times after quitting a job, after quitting something entrepreneurial or something doing on my own, I would remember sitting down with my journal and saying, okay, what am I good at? What are my skills? What can I do? Blah, 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 over and over and over and over and over again. Right. And I never asked for help, never like just couldn't find the answers out there. And it was last year actually that I decided to invest a little bit of myself and join the community called Las Comadres. And after that community, everything, like so many things have opened up for me, because with that community, I had been able to ask for help. I'm not there 100% yet, but I'm getting better at allowing to receive love and help from others. I'm not the greatest right now. I'm like asking for help, but I see like, oh, I'm not alone. Oh, I can allow other powerful women to, join me in this life journey, right? And help me out. And so yeah, I guess it's been difficult, like asking for help and allowing to receive help for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing that you were able to find that. And just so the audience knows, we're both part of an organization called Las Comadres, which is an incredible organization for women or self-identifying women. And it focuses on basically godmothering our dreams, because comadre means godmother. And so we're godmothers to each other's dreams. And so that whatever it looks like, it could be a business, it could be a goal, it could be an aspiration, whatever that is for you, and we come together and we grow together. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like success doesn't happen in a vacuum. If you want to get to wherever it is that you want to get in your life, you can't do it alone. Like it just doesn't work that way. We're creatures of, we're tribal creatures. We thrive in community, and we thrive with connecting and working with each other. And oftentimes we get into the zone, especially when we're like in survival mode, when we're going through, obstacles in our life, challenges. We get into this thing of like, if it's going to get done, it's going to get done by me. And if it's going to be right, I have to do it, And what ends up happening is that we end up burning ourselves out because we need support. We need to have support. We need to be able to reach out and delegate and ask for help. And so I love that you said that, even though you know that asking for help is important, you still have a challenge with it, because that's natural. That's how we all are, but at least you're aware of it, and awareness is half the battle. And now you're open to receiving, which is the key to everything, is like opening yourself up to receiving. And then you can start creating that balance and start creating that give and take. So it's beautiful. So let me ask you this. Through your journey of all these, mishaps of like the career going wrong and like the failures and the things that you had to overcome in yourself to realize what mattered to you and what really was your purpose and what you wanted to do in life. Through this, after what you've learned in your journey, what has been like the biggest takeaway for you from being resilient, overcoming your shadow, overcoming your challenges and getting to where you are now?
So I'm very thankful to resilience in a way, like to be a resilient person, which I think most of us have that ability. When you're just searching for something, right? For me, it's purpose. For other people, is something else. For me, it was purpose and freedom, right? And having this relationship with resilience made me actually find the true purpose, right? If I hadn't been through all these like failed attempts at being a professional designer, and some of them it was a great experience, and I excelled, and it was great. The restaurant was a great success, but if I hadn't kept searching, I wouldn't be where I am right now, where it's a place of, I think I'm starting a project that's my life's work. I feel calm. I feel at peace. I feel fulfilled. And if I had stopped, I had said half of the way, you know what, I'll just keep doing design, and this is how life feels, and it's okay, and I'm making some money, and I'll pay the bills. If I had stopped, then I would probably, just not be in a happy place. So I am thankful to resilience, or to being resilient, I guess, and to never stop searching. And then I acknowledge myself during my birthdays, like, you know what, I always thought I was not a person that was a constant and I guess perseverant.
Like
and then I realized consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah, I thought I was never consistent because I always quit everything I started and all this. But I was like, you know what, I've been consistent in looking for purpose. Like, I've always been consistent in this search of, I knew there was something else. I knew there was something like bigger than just making money and paying the bills. So I was like, that was an aha moment for me of saying, you know what, I am consistent. I am a hard worker, and I was just a little bit lost. And here I am now, and everything that has happened to me has brought me where I am today. And everything that I've learned along the way in all my like quirky job positions and trial and error has helped me in some way in the project I'm doing right now. So seeing it, being able to breathe, see it that way and say, oh, okay, so having experience in photography has helped me now that I can do some cool pictures for my blog. Or having a restaurant taught me so much about everything, about life in general. So that experience taught me all these things. And it's just like a little bag I carry of all my learnings and all my experiences. And now I can take this with me and just build something from there, right? And yeah, acknowledge myself for being resilient and never stopping, and being in this place of saying, oh, okay, this is how purpose feels. This is how living from something that you feel great about. So, and it is a bumpy road, whatever is ahead of me. It's not like, oh, I reached blissfulness. It's just, I reached the place I was looking for, this place of figuring out how to be of service to others from my own experience.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. And it's an ongoing journey, right? It's funny because we tend to think, oh, when I get there, when I make it, everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. And there's no real place to get to. It's all happening right now, right here in the present moment. So how you feel right now is what you're going to feel tomorrow and the day after and the day after. So focusing on your present moment, creating what you want to create now is really going to bring you the peace and the joy that you want, because there's no utopia to get to. Utopia is where you are in the present moment, So I love that you said that. Yeah. And so it's so beautiful. I love your story and how, all those failures that you experienced actually became parts like gems in your bag, in your toolbox, you know, that you use to thrive in what you're doing now. And that you were consistent, you never gave up. That's one of the things in my own journey, that is that I never gave up. And I always tell people, never give up on your dreams, on what you want to do, because you never gave up. And look, you were able to come out of that, like that darkness, into the light, and see, oh wow, okay, this is where I'm going, this is my purpose. And even though you don't have it fully defined yet, you're still navigating it and exploring and paving it out, but at least you know what direction you're going in, and it feels in alignment with you, and you feel great about it, you know. So that's what really matters. So that's amazing. So let me ask you this, for the viewers out there, for people listening, and they might see the replay after, if you were to tell them some words of wisdom that you would like to leave for them today, people that might be on a similar journey of resilience, people that may be kind of in the shadow right now, in the darkness, kind of trying to navigate with a flashlight, what would you tell these people?
Yeah, that's a lot to say about being in the darkness. And I would say acknowledge yourself for all the things that you can acknowledge yourself. Look at your life and say, okay, what have I actually done? I mean, and yeah, at first it may be like, well, I haven't done this great, or I'm a failure because I haven't. And then ask yourself, who said that I needed to do X, Y, or Z in right now, right? Like, start questioning yourself. Who said this? Who, like, is this my vision of success, or of a great relationship, or whatever, right? Like, and start questioning why you think that might look that way. And just questioning and acknowledging yourself, I think, are two of the most like powerful tools. And seeing how everything that you have lived has formed the person you are, and stepping up from there, like continuing forward from there, saying, okay, this is where I am right now, accepting where you are, and saying, where do I want to go? And look at your toolbox. I'm sure you have like a lot of things in that toolbox, right? A lot of experiences and people that you've met, or something that is going to help you continue your journey of whatever you're looking for in your life.
Beautiful. And guys, never give up.
And never give up. Of course, never give up. I mean, life is beautiful, and it took me a long time to understand that. But it is a incredible journey, and yeah, never giving up is very important.
Beautiful. And so now, with all that said and done, what's next for you? What's next for you, and where can people find you?
So what's next? I started this blog with no idea where I was going with it. Like, it actually started as a podcast idea that merged into a blog. And to be honest, I don't know where I'm going, in the sense of, like, I don't know if it's going to become a healing center in the future. It's going to become a adventure and agency with, you know, like rituals of self-love. But that's the whole beauty of it, right? I'm in this road. I know I'm committed, and my north is to be able to inspire others to just get to know themselves and be authentic, like start to getting to know their authentic selves through like fun and adventures. That's like my north. How it's gonna look from here to when I get there, I have no idea. But I hope you guys join me in my journey of trying to figure this out, and just enjoy. Like, I'll share like my findings, and I'll probably do like fun stuff with adventures, who knows, maybe here in Belize, or retreats maybe with Mio, who knows. But I am starting, and I'm definitely committed to this for all of my life. This is my life's journey, and this is what I want to do with my life. So you can find me it's in Spanish. It's Vero en un viaje. The content's all in Spanish. But yeah, you can find me there, and then you can join me in my adventure.
Beautiful. And you can use Google Translate if you don't speak Spanish.
Yes, Google Translate, exactly. Or get somebody that speaks Spanish and share some, let them translate it for you, share some time together, just It's all love. It's all the same.
Exactly. Love is a universal language. All right. Well, thank you so much, Veronica. It was such an honor to sit down with you and have this talk. Thank you so much for sharing so openly and vulnerably about your journey, about your trials and tribulations, and about your successes and where you are now. It's super exciting to hear where you're going and to hear that you finally connected with your purpose. And through your resilience, you were able to find that and never give up and get to where you are now. And, peace of mind there's no price you could put on that, right? So having peace of mind, feeling centered in your purpose, that's what really matters. So I'm so glad you found that for yourself. I'm so glad you guys tuned in today. Please, please, please keep tuning in. It's going to be an amazing month with amazing women like Veronica. We're going to be here again tomorrow, Friday at 5 p.m. So don't miss it. Streaming live. And you can find me at IG on Instagram at Mio_Santana. That's MIO_SANTANA. And if you want more information about the Resilience group coaching program coming up on April 19th, you can find it at miosantana.com/self-love. And I hope to see you there. Thank you guys all for joining with love and light. I send you a hug and a kiss, and we will see you